the unpause button. Is it recording on your end?
It sure is.
Okay. So let's start it now. So the meeting officially starts at 6:03. Welcome, public, to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting for Friday, December the 9th, 2022 at 6 p.m. We're going to go to our first agenda item, which is roll call. Fernanda?
Ben Wadsworth. Let me check the attendees side just to make sure. I do not see him here. Chente Montalvo, Vincent Chente Montalvo.
Present.
And Fernanda Sanchez present. That's 2 out of 3. We have quorum.
Okay, we'll move on to our third item, which is non-agenda public comment. At this agenda item, anybody can make a comment that is not on the agenda. If you wish to do so, you can use *9 if you're on a phone, or raise your little hand. Do you see any, Fernie?
I do not see any.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next item. We'll close item 3 and we're going to go to item 4, community and board announcement. If anybody in the community wishes to make an announcement, you can push *9 or raise the little yellow hand. Do you see any, Fernie?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, we'll close the public side and we'll open it up to a committee member. Do you have anything, Fernie? I don't.
Just that our general board meeting is next Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay. And also, well, I do have one. The Hazard Park Recreation Center is going to be hosting its holiday breakfast with Santa, and that is on Saturday, December the 10th. And you can call up the rec center for more information. Okay, so we'll close item 4 and we'll open item 5, which is discussion and possible action on reviewing the 2022-2023 fiscal budget. So this year we've wasted some of our money, right? I shouldn't say waste, but we spent some of our money. And we're currently, let me bring up the numbers. I had them here. Okay, give me 1 second because this computer is running a little slow. Fernanda, does your computer run slow? Because I know we don't live too far from each other, but lately my computer's been running slow.
It stopped running slow as soon as I switched internet. And now it's just like magic. Everything is smooth as it can be.
Okay.
Do you have Spectrum internet?
Yes.
No. I left them after being with them for like 10 years.
Oh my God.
My life has been exponentially better.
Okay, so right now, expenses up to date, we've spent $4,065.77. We currently have a net available balance of $37,934.23. For the fiscal year this year, in our budget that we approved, the board approved $12,500 for MPGs this year. And that's because we had the elections that, we had to save a little bit of money for. But it's just a reminder that our funding can change and we will have more budget and finance committees because we might have to move some of our funding around. And there may be chances that we may have more money for MPGs in the future, or we could spend it more on our outreach projects. And so the board will determine that on the future projects coming before the outreach and the general board. But do you have any questions, Fernanda, about the budget?
Just basic question regarding the NPG. Is it now a good time to ask that?
Yeah.
for future protocol, would it be possible, or is there a specific protocol on how to review the NPGs? Like, is there a benefit to doing it at the end of the year the way we've been doing it versus like reviewing them when they come in?
Well, usually like we'll have the MPG committee, or they can be held here in the budget. Well, in any committee really, right? Like budget and finance and outreach. And we could put a protocol together, for example, like saying, is your address within the boundaries of the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council? A question could be put on there like, do you directly serve, or how much of the money is actually going to serve the community, right? Versus sometimes we get like requests for stuff that helps the nonprofit, but then there's no real outcome for the public. We can work on that in our next agenda item. We can put it on here and definitely discuss it and then take it to the board and get the protocol approved.
Sure, yeah. I also meant in terms of, for example, reviewing and approving NPGs as they come in versus reviewing them all at once at the end of the year. I wasn't sure if that's like something that could be amended or even just discussed. Just an idea to throw out there.
That could be part of the protocol. We can vet them in the committee, for example. Like in this committee, I actually have them come in and ask, and then we could also make suggestions that they go to the executive committee, and that way they could put onto the general board. And those that don't meet that criteria, well, they can apply again or wait for the second cycle in the fiscal year. When we re-budget, and if there's money left over and we decide that we want to put it on MPGs and we didn't use it in outreach, we can definitely put another, keep them on a mail list that we can ask them to come back and open it again before July. So we'd have to plan the second one around June so that we have all the paperwork in by July.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on it?
And that's it for me.
Okay, we can go to, if there's anybody in the public that has any questions on.
Yes, we do have a hand raised.
Okay.
Rhino, you have 2 minutes to make a statement. You have been unmuted.
Oh, it looks like he
Yeah, I do not see him anymore. All right. Unless they log in again, I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Let me see. Just go back. Okay. So with that and the budget, that's just the update we have for right now. There hasn't been too much, and we submitted all. We're up to date on our MERs. We're up to date on our receipts. There was just a small issue with the receipt. I got an email saying that we use cash. We never use cash. So it was all the card, and I think it was just an overlooked error. So I contacted the city clerk for funding so that we can get some clarification on it and clear it up. So other than that, we're pretty good and we're on track with our budget. So it's good to know, and we'll review the budget again once we come to understand how much we have. But right now, what people really wanted to know is how much are in the MPGs, and it's 12,500 that we have allotted this year, and that could change in the future. Okay, so we'll close item 5 and open item 6. And item 6 is discussion on the process of applying for an MPG grant. So the MPG process is there's a packet that you fill out, and there's two types of groups that can actually apply. One can be a school, and they will be required to get a letter from the school verifying that they're requesting from the principal. And then what would help us a lot and the board members a lot is a small proposal on what the money would be spent on, and if possible, photos of the items that will be spent on. because I think that would help the committee members really look at whether it would help their judgment in looking at seeing whether they would like to support that or not, right? So something that's small. And also we're requesting that if anybody has received a grant in the past, that they fill out the form where we would need to see a small synopsis of what happened, possibly pictures and receipts. So those that have gotten grants, we'll be sending out that form shortly for them to apply. And we also want to keep in mind, because we have a lot of people who have applied for MPGs and some of them are repeat appliers. And we definitely want to make sure that in the community, we give people opportunity. So that's something for board members to take into consideration, because we are limited with funds. And we do want to make sure that we're able to definitely give the money directly to the community so that there's a direct impact, right? Whether it's on education or something. At the end of the day, a majority of the board will decide where the money goes. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the second one is if you're a 501c3, and that is a nonprofit status. And if you are a 501c3 organization, there's a couple of steps that we want to make sure that before people apply should check. So one is with the franchise tax board to make sure that you're in good standing with the franchise tax board and that you're current on your documentation. Another one is with the IRS, that you're in good standing with the IRS. Another one that would be required too is to make sure that you have permission to conduct business with the sales license and a current sales license within the city of Los Angeles. We would also need your determination letter from the IRS. That's required, and to make sure that the organization plans to spend that money within the district, right? I think that's super important. And also an itemized list of what the money would be spent on, and a synopsis of what type of benefit it will bring to the community. Now, we do have some cases where we have what we call a fiscal agent. And so the fiscal agent is usually a group that does not have a 501c3, but partner up with a group that has a 501c3. And it's important that that information be clarified in your letter for the board members to understand that maybe the lead agency, which is the one applying, is just being the financial fiscal sponsor, and that it's clear who will be responsible at the end on the money that will be spent in the community, because that also affects the board members' decisions on whether it's a direct and whether we have access to check at times if the board members have questions on maybe invoices, or they want to maybe attend the projects. And all in together, people have to consider this too, and it's a requirement from the city. Anytime that we have an event like this, or we're donating money, or it's a co-sponsorship, we also need to make sure that the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council logo is on all the flyers. And anything that we support, it's part of our outreach, and it's part of a requirement that shows that we are supporting in some way the event project. And that's a process to go through, not only through our executive committee, but through outreach, to get an understanding of what a layout would be and where our logos are. It's good to have that before. So some of these projects should be in our hands in a perfect world at least 3 months before the event, but we know sometimes that can't happen. So the sooner the better. That way the board will be able to make a proper decision at it, because all of these things can add up sometimes to a rejection of a grant. And in our meetings, I always tell people, because some people might get upset when their grant may not be accepted now. That doesn't mean that it won't be accepted in a halfway term, or in the last term we may have another grant, but we tell people to continue to apply. And we hold the grants for up to a year. And then every year they have to apply, unless we do a total clean out of grants, and then we request the grants to come in maybe on the second turnaround. So just keep that in mind. And the best places to get our information is off the website, and to follow us on Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council's Instagram. And then you can find a lot of our contact information on Empower LA. And you can click on the Neighborhood Council for Lincoln Heights, and it has all our direct emails. And if not, you can reach me at Vincent m.lhmc@gmail.com. Fernanda, do you want to give him yours?
That'll be my first name, Fernanda dot Sanchez LHNC@gmail.com.
And I'm the treasurer, and Fernanda's the secretary on the general board. So she would be the best, and CC me into it. That way we can share it with the rest of our executive committee and board members. And let me see, what else am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I cleared up the grants and the process. So if you reach out to me on the council email, be patient, because we do get a lot of requests, and I'm pretty sure Fernanda does too. So we try to respond the fast way we can. But if for some reason you can't wait, please refer to the financial documents on Empower LA. That's the packet that we always refer to. And there's a complete packet that will have a step-by-step on everything you need to be able to apply for the MPG. Do you have anything to add, Fernanda?
No.
Okay, so I don't either, and I don't see anybody else in the public. Okay, so I guess we'll close item 5. I mean, excuse me, item 6, right? So we'll close item 6, and you want to make a motion to adjourn?
All right, I motion to adjourn.
It's the fastest meeting, right?
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I don't see any. All right, meeting adjourned at 6:20 p.m.
Thank you, Fernanda. Thank you, public. We'll see you guys all at the executive and then the general board meeting.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye-bye.